Well, first of all, I want to tell you how overwhelmed I am about all of you who have come today. And it's not only your numbers, but your enthusiasm. And I'm really deeply touched by it. Appreciate it. The Secretary of State has an obligation to lead and to lead with vigor and courage. And that's why today I'm announcing I am a candidate for Oregon Secretary of State. As Secretary of State, I will take very seriously the constitutional obligation to ensure fair elections, scrutinize the operations of government, and preserve our state's great heritage. But I know I will have an even bigger responsibility, and it's not etched in the vellum of the Constitution, nor is there any statutory responsibility, but it is clearly understood by the citizens of the state. And that responsibility is for each and every one of us to help make our community better for the next. You know, Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The government is us. We are the government, you and I. It is our responsibility to make sure that Oregon maintains its legacy and pursues its heritage." It is the responsibility of the Secretary of State to defend and preserve both the integrity and the accessibility of the election process. It cannot become a partisan tool or a tool of power. And it must honor the true heroes of our democracy, the thousands of people across the state who manage the election process in all of our political subdivisions, and the hundreds of thousands of Oregonians who every 2 years exercise their rights to petition their government through the initiative and the referendum process. As a teacher, television journalist, and 9 years in the Oregon Senate, I have witnessed what we can do together when we focus. I know how leadership can transform the impossible to the possible, obstacles into opportunity, and despair into hope. Good leadership doesn't require any type of magic formula, nor is it something you get by being anointed by your peers. It is something that is inherent in each and every one of us, and there only if we will seize the opportunity and make it so. I have worked to represent both rural and urban citizens to help make Oregon a better place. When our state was faced with aging bridges that threatened to hamstring our economy, I co-authored and helped pass the biggest transportation infrastructure package this state had seen since the Eisenhower administration. When consumers cried foul over Enron's deceptive rate-making tactics, I co-authored and helped pass legislation protecting ratepayers from being charged for taxes that were never paid to government. And when our schools were faced with a desperate need to reduce class sizes, to reinvigorate vocational and technical training, and for mentoring of our teachers, Senate President Peter Courtney asked me, even though I had never been on an education committee, to chair a special Senate Commission on Educational Excellence to move the state forward. And my commission adopted and presented to the legislature a major investment for our children. And this last year, 2007, the legislature adopted and passed that historic investment for our children's future. But as we look to the future, I am mindful that we cannot neglect the present. I will seize the bully pulpit of this campaign to champion community livability, safety, and prosperity. Today, our state is faced with a major transportation crisis, and the health of our economy and the livability of our communities demands that we get attention. As I seek to be your next Secretary of State, I will continue to pursue my responsibilities as Oregon State Senator. Current commitments will not be trumped by the campaign or campaign concerns. I believe Oregonians expect and deserve that. As chairman of the Senate Transportation Committee, I am committed to delivering a thoughtful solution to the 2009 Legislative Assembly. This issue needs an ongoing advocate. And speaking of history, I might note that in the first 50 years of the last century, it was the Secretary of State who control the Motor Vehicle Division and the State Highway Fund and serve as its first Highway Transportation Commissioner. You know, Oregonians have long since tired of the politics of despair and division. They want a voice to reach across the entire state, but not just with rhetoric, but actually with results. In the months ahead, I will lay out my vision for Oregon, for moving Oregon forward, and in embracing its promises for all of our citizens. But most importantly, with a real roadmap to get that accomplished. You know, on my living room wall is a quotation from Eleanor Roosevelt, and it says, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Together, let's take our dreams for Oregon and turn them into the realities of tomorrow. Thank you, and now let's go get it done.